Good morning, Amanda.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Glad you could join us this morning.
Are you working from home or are you at the office?
I'm at the office today and I just saw the announcement, so I'll be at home tomorrow.
Yeah, do you think, since they just announced the stay home, is most people in the office or is everyone like working from home?
Most of the agents are at home. Right now we have just staff and just mainly essential. A couple of agents in and out, but mainly, and even the staff is skeletal. It's Chad, myself, Barbara, and Bria really today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we will still be, the office will still be receiving checks and stuff. So we're coming up with a plan right now to work from home, but still keep the office functional. So we're still ironing out some details.
Yeah, I bet. I know it's so crazy. My husband's other office is in Seattle and they issued it yesterday. So his company is hurriedly trying to like create a document so people can still go to the office and everything because they have guys that have to go in. So they're trying to get them set up, like get the lawyer involved. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It just got to stop. And yeah, it's just like everybody's being affected. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse.
Yeah, we're going to have to, do a lot of the things that we're going to cover today about looking at our budgets, and it's going to take extra effort on each and every one of our parts. Some long nights, longer hours, but I believe we can make it through. I think once everyone believes that the virus is settled down or they have control, I think it'll get to some level of normalcy. I can't say it'll be perfect, but once people feel confident, okay, we got it under control, things
Yeah.
will pick up again.
Well, and I think too, because right now, especially like everyone's kind of like they're just starting to test, like really actually really test. So I think that's what kind of like you're like, okay, if they're just starting to really get people tested, okay, that's great, but now all of a sudden we're gonna see like a huge flux of numbers.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So how are you and your family?
Oh, we're good. Our kids are 11 and 12, so it's been trying to, like organize them to, be able to get outside and do something, get them to do chores, get them so they're not just sitting around all day, right? Like trying to get online learning set up, getting, like then it's like, okay, we need to switch to life lessons. Now you're going to learn how to cook and do your own laundry and all these other things. So it's trying to like balance both, plus keep, like I had picked up a bunch of leasing people,
Okay.
but like even trying to just still talk to them, just to reach out to them and like kind of like, hey, like if you need anything, let me know. Just trying to, I don't know, stay present, stay in it, still talk to all my friends, still trying to network. A lot of the stuff that we had planned all got canceled. So that kind of sucks. But I mean, it's crazy. Praying my husband's company doesn't furlough them. That we're really going to be,
Right.
They've done it for a week right now. So, but they're all just using PTO time. So they're hoping that they're kind of ahead of it with their major company, that they'll furlough everybody now, have enough people do it now that they won't have to continue, take a big, huge chunk of change out of the, from them having to pay out and everything. So then hopefully it'll be okay. Cause they're still like, he's in pipeline inspection. So they still send guys like all over the place. So like, hit a guy that had to go to Hawaii. I was like, can we go to Hawaii and you could get stuck there? That would be okay.
That would be nice. That would be really nice.
It's just crazy.
Right. Well, it's 10 o'clock. Hopefully more people will join us, but I'm not going to let that delay us. So I want to get started because with the Zoom package I have, we have limited time, so we might have 40 minutes, and so we've already be starting early. I'm sure people will come on board. I'm going to ask permission with what's going on. Can I say a prayer to cover us and anybody else that joins the meeting before we get started?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So people might join us of various faiths. That's fine. Use, substitute the words I use with the person that you worship, but let's get started. Dear Heavenly Father God, we ask that you bless the families, the individuals represented here. We ask that you keep them safe and healthy. Bless their extended family, Lord. We ask that you bless this country and the world right now as we deal with this virus. You've got our attention. I know we had stepped away from you, but Lord, we are focused on you right now. We ask that you touch and bless each family represented here. And it's in the name of your son we pray, amen. All right, so let's get started. So today we're going to be covering tactics 2 through 4. And tactics 2 is remarginalizing your business, or basically reevaluating your expenses. So I want to just kind of get an input from you, Amanda, and have you looked at your expenses expenses to run your business, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I run pretty lean, obviously. I feel like I'm so new and I didn't start off on the great foot when I moved here. So I kind of took a look at it, seeing I was buying some stuff to help with social media. I canceled all that stuff.
Okay.
And just kind of like made sure, like wrote it all out, really had to have a detailed list of like, okay, this is my office bill, this is my car bill, like this is that, and just kind of watching it to make sure that we're not. And I even did it for personally too. Like we cut a bunch of stuff. We put our kids' phones on hold. We did a bunch of stuff financially for ourselves too, not just for business, but like really like we need to open it up. When the last meeting, when they said that, I was like, yeah, we really need to do this right now. If there's any time, it's now.
Exactly. It's right now. We all have to take a look at the expenses on business and our personal lives and look at it with a fine-tooth comb. If it's not providing immediate value or return on the value, do we really need it? And if we don't need it, cut it. We have to be very shrewd with the decision, and like a Band-Aid, one off. Just if it's not serving you, just pull it right off. Welcome, Tosef. How are you today? I don't know if he has his mic on or not, but so you've looked at that. I know Kelly's been looking at it. She's been looking at her entire business, and she looks at it quite frequently. I know she was just looking at. She has some virtual staff and permanent staff, and kind of considering whether or not which one does stay. She's going to be making a tough decision there, and both, and I'm putting in hours on the team as well. So I'm assistant team leader, but I'm also working in the real estate team as well, dropping off, filling in where she can be, dropping off surveys and option fee checks. So it's all hands on deck right now. That's what's important. Kelly, you want to have anything you want to share? You got to unmute yourself.
Well, I mean, just really looking at everything and looking at it weekly instead of, maybe monthly or quarterly. So really keeping an eye on, what's pending. Is this going to close? And what do I need to cut out going forward? Because there were some things in my budget that were really unnecessary and weren't serving me. So they've already been cut.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so we understand that we all have to look at our expenses, and that's something. If someone's not experienced in the staff, or I know Chad and I have taken extensive classes on how to list everything out and ask tough questions. So if you needed help with that, we'd be happy to step in. But okay, so you looked at your budget and you identified what costs need to be eliminated, and then the next step after looking at your expenses. Now, how do you do less with more? I know the book talks about finding leverage. You've cut costs and then leverage. That
Well, there's some
that's tough.
stuff that there's some stuff that I had to get back into doing, like showing properties. I'm now, working with buyers, which, I was 95% a listing agent. So now, right now, I have four buyers. So it's really changing my mindset around, what I was doing versus, okay, this is what I need to do to stay in business.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Doing less with more and leverage is tough. I don't know how many people are on the call that have teams or have leverage. So, a lot of people are one person shows. Is that correct for you, Amanda? What about you, Tosa?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. So for me, I mean, obviously, it yeah, you don't have the support. I don't like. I'm still okay. If I can't door knock, I can't do open houses. How am I going to drum up business? This is where I'm at. I'm like, what do I do? How am I going to? I do property desk. Like putting there's certain things, but that's like very small. So how do you funnel more business in? That's where I'm like kind of like standing here going like, what do I do? Literally, what
Okay.
do I do? I have no idea because the normal stuff that we've been taught to do, we can't do right now.
Right.
And so how do you like you have to basically find a new niche in a market that's like completely uncertain. And I don't like I literally I'm being honest, like I don't know what to do.
Okay. Tosa, if you're unmuted, you have anything to share?
Yeah, I do. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so, my background is in wholesaling, and I worked with a wholesaler before I joined KW, Net Worth Realty.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually, in the last downturn, they did pretty well. And it's really because they're in a different, they work with a different type of clientele, and they look for a different type of property, which is basically investments. Even when there's a situation like we're having right now, there are investors looking to buy a good deal. That would have, they're looking, then your typical buyer right now is just trying to look at a house to live in. An investor is looking for something to flip, something to buy and hold. So I'm thinking to go back in my old ways and just look for investment properties. I still have my investors available, my investor list. So I'm looking to go and market to, foreclosures, distressed properties, and people who are looking for rentals.
Okay.
I think the next couple of months, we're probably going to see, due to the kind of circumstance right now, we're probably going to see a lot of people who are wanting to get out of their houses and investors to pick those up.
Okay.
So that's where I'm going to be probably shifting to for the next few months and weeks.
Okay. If I can share some things, I think you definitely have to shift. First, I want to address some of the things you brought up, Tosif. I think we're definitely going to find some people, unfortunately, that are going to be in a bad situation, and there will be some folks that will probably need to sell their homes for financial, job loss, something to that effect. I would encourage you to get your Keller Offer certification so that you don't have to so much go to your network of investors. You can have another group right from Keller Williams, and you can offer both the retail and the traditional way of selling or the investor method going to Keller Williams pool of investors powered by OfferPad. And so you can play both options. So that would open up more doors for you. Either get a full commission or just a 1% commission on writing the paperwork between the seller and that investor. So that's definitely, if both you have resources to invest the $250 to get certified for that, that's one way of putting yourself in position to take advantage of this new market we're going to be entering into. Amanda, go ahead, Kelly.
Also on Keller Offers, when they put it back on the market, you also get an additional 1%.
Yeah, so you, rather than getting maybe 3 or on a traditional 6% sale, you get 1 and 1. So you walk away with 2 and you market yourself to the neighborhood when you sell it. So, and it's just paperwork. So it's just a quick option for you. For a $250 investment, you have another method to market to sellers that are in distress. You're going to offer them a traditional sale or the investor offer. In 72 hours, you can come back at them with a cash offer. So that's one option. Amanda, speaking to some of the things you raised about, okay, what to do next. You've been door knocking, you're comfortable with that, and you were doing open houses. Right now, it's going to have to be, most of you going to have to shift to the phone and internet, prospecting, calling around listings or a house that just sold. It's going to have to get to your phone skills to reach out to people. I know some people have call aversion, but right now with what we're facing, if you can't door knock and the open houses are out, the most aggressive, direct way to reach people is via the phone. Kelly, you got anything to share on that?
Yes. Also, one thing that people are doing is setting up neighborhood pages on things like Facebook, so their community, so they're being a resource, saying, oh, HEB has these hours, there's toilet paper at Walmart, whatever it is, sharing those sorts of things in the community, and also slipping some real estate in there, and really reassuring the public that the bottom hasn't fallen out.
What are your thoughts on that, Amanda?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm so part of so many Facebook groups and stuff, and I'm in Siena, so we have like a million agents that live here. Like Pam Shockey lives right next door to me, so I'm kind of like,
Wow.
Oh
she
my goodness.
she goes right, she goes through all the Facebook groups and talks about, so
Okay.
I'm not very good at that, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, I do work a lot like I'm involved in both schools, middle and elementary school. So, all those people and that kind of stuff. So I do you know what I mean? I guess my thing is I'm not really pushy. They know what I do, and that's kind of how I leave it, because there's so many people here that sell houses, and after moving back, I don't want to really, you know what I mean? I've been gone for 4 years, so it's kind of, they could have moved on or whatever. But still, yeah, I like that idea. And I do like I forgot about doing just sold and just listeds.
Yeah,
I
and
think that would be something good.
it doesn't have to just be Siena. Branch out
Yeah.
where things are moving so that you can just bring in some
And
deals.
even if it is Siena, you mentioned that you're like part of the schools, so it could be, realtor. I mean, you can really run with it, because you could say realtor sharing activities with kids, what to do with your kids while they're quarantined. So
Yeah.
you can find some other angles versus what
Just always
everyone
being
else
about,
is doing.
yeah, I agree with that for sure. And that's kind of what I tried to do, more so be a community person than be a, hey, so yeah, okay, that's good.
Hey, Tosa, what are your thoughts on the Keller offers option?
I like it. I actually am probably gonna get more information on there.
Yeah, Norman Liu has a lot of information. Kelly, did you get anything after you took it?
Yeah,
sorry?
I mean, I took it, someone has some verbal feedback, hopefully it's not me, but I took it a couple weeks ago online, and it took about 2 hours, and it gave you the parameters. So, and it also gave all the paperwork. So there's certain disclosures that we have to take out. And it's really a tool to open doors. So people that are thinking about selling, you have this option. It also works well for if they're buying new construction and their house is ready and their existing house isn't sold, they can sell their house that way as well. So it really gives you some additional tools in your toolbox, so to speak. And not everyone realizes, okay, that's going to cost too much. I want to go the traditional route. And now you can put it side by side with your traditional real estate services.
Okay, excellent. And we've just kind of naturally progressed into the last tactic about finding the motivated. What, Kelly, maybe you can share some of the things that you're doing to find motivated people. Share some ideas for all of us that we can do right now.
Well, I've run, I was playing with command ads here in the last month, and I've run get cash offers for your house ads since I now have the Keller Offers certification. And so I'm really following up with those people. This kind of hit just as I got going. So a couple people said, hey, I'm going to hold off, but I'm staying in contact with those people. And, I plan to use it to the fullest once we're, back in action full
Okay.
time.
What about buyers right now? You're still seeing buyers still want to buy. What's the best way to find them or make yourself available to them?
Well, I mean, not some buyers want to go out and some don't. And I have gloves in the car. I have hand sanitizer in the car. Most homeowners, we're showing mostly vacant houses. And if they are like sellers that I have that still want to show their house, they're making sure all the lights are on so you don't have to touch the light switches. So it's really, and they have things like Lysol and wipes, and they even have shoe covers at the front door. So that make it as easy as possible. I mean, we have to use caution, and we're not, it's best to leave the kids at home, of course. So I mean that's really the best thing. But there's actually multiple offers on every house that I wrote on this week.
Okay.
And it was like in a day or two that they came on the market.
Wow. Okay. So there's still activity out there.
There's way more than you think.
Okay. So Tosif, your prospecting efforts these days, how's it been going?
I am not prospecting much other than just kind of, well, last week it was just meeting people, just going up to people, giving my business card. I'm thinking of a plan of how to prospect in the upcoming months.
Okay.
I'm probably going to get the foreclosure list for Fort Bend County.
Okay.
And hit up the pre-foreclosure list.
Right.
And then start hitting up the pre-foreclosures, seeing if I could offer them something to list their property.
Right.
And see if they want to, just list it below, at a good selling price, pretty much well below, to be, to list it so it's investor kind of friendly, and then be able to then send it out to my buyers list is what my plan was. I'm very curious about this color offers thing you just mentioned. I think it's going to be a pretty good tool as far as how I'm going to be marketing to for pre-foreclosures. I can just
with the Keller offers, you could easily run those ads, cash offer in 72 hours on your property,
and Keller offers is in conjunction with OfferPad.
So definitely something you could use. So what other ways? Because right now it's critical. We need as many options for income as possible. And you mentioned you had some leases. What is the status of those leases?
So for me right now, they're kind of, one of them, they're older. And so we're not even going out.
Okay.
They're in their 70s. So obviously they're actually two, I got them together, but they're both separate. So I think for them, they're not even going to start looking right now. Okay. So just keeping in contact with them and just, do you need anything? Can I help you? Like, are you okay? Like, do you know what I mean? Because I'm sure it's hard for them too. They don't, she was pretty pessimistic or optimistic about this whole thing. And I was like the pessimist. And now it's like, okay, maybe that wasn't so good. She's kind of worried now. So, and the other ones, it's just trying to get them convinced that like, it's okay. Like we can still go look at a house. Like there's still some out there. Like, we can still get you in a lease. And they're coming right up on the April 1st. So we're going to be, this week is going to be my week of like pushing them to, hey, let's go find a place for you. So, and I think, doing the command thing again and putting more ads out there, I guess. There's always going to be people that lease. I don't care if I just get leases right now, as long as it's something.
Exactly. That's pretty much the attitude we all have to take. Anything to generate income right now, we, pursue it. Leases, whatever. Right now, it's survival mode, cutting expenses, and generating income as best we can to make it through. And if we take these activities and put them full force right now, when the market swings our way, we'll be perfectly positioned for when the people have to sell. They might, I do expect eventually there's going to be an uptick in distress sales or people that have to sell. They might not be in foreclosure, but they may be pre-foreclosure and need help. So if we get our systems down now and can survive, when the market turns, we'll be well positioned to thrive. So really that's the way we have to plan. I need to do all I can to survive now, but put systems in place. But when the market gets back, I'm ready to just take off full swing.
One thing that I've read recently on Business Insider that the iBuyer program, Zillow, and a lot of the other online companies had, they've actually taken a pause.
Yes, that is true. That is true. And so has Keller Offers. However, we don't know how long that pause will be. And when the market comes back, just think of the backlog of people that were depending on using that service. The numbers are going to be crazy of people that say, I need to sell right now.
Yeah.
And I've been using Command myself, getting my contacts in. I've worked to set up Twilio. It's not working to my satisfaction yet. I'm waiting on some tech support, but I'm pouring my time into Command to get it set up so I can quickly reach people via text, email, with the multiple media messages, so that I can stay in touch with them, stay in front of them for this market right now. And when it turns, I want to be first top of mind. So that's my operating philosophy, is do whatever I got to do to generate income now, longer hours. Like Kelly said, get back into the business, doing some of the things I didn't like to do. I'm following up with buyers, taking buyers out on my weekends. So it's all hands on deck, and just make it through, fight through this time. And at the end of the tunnel, when the market returns, we're going to be positioned to take advantage. And that's what we right now focus on, surviving through this market, getting back into your business, slashing the things that are unnecessary. And you might have to take on some tasks that you were once felt comfortable you could afford to leverage out, or you could afford some automated service. You might have to do that for this period of time and cut those expenses. Kelly, you got anything you want to share that I may have missed?
Really, I mean, and this is so hard. I've been sitting in my office and haven't done a whole lot. So it's really getting your mind right, and it's been day to day. Usually I come in, but every 5 minutes there's some new alert. I don't even have my alerts on, but I have friends emailing me or texting me saying, "Oh, there's a shelter in place in Harris County now," but we're exempt. We're part of the financial and banking industry. So we were deemed essential, but every little hit seems to get to you. And so really it's turning it around every day, and, maybe even making this earlier so that everyone can get set for the day.
So you're saying maybe have this call earlier before the day gets started so we can get our mind right.
Right. Okay. Because I've spent the last hour, I've cleaned my desk and I've polished my nails.
Oh no.
That makes no sense.
Those are no-nos. Those are no-nos.
But I mean, I'm being honest. So what are the, people at home are equally probably in a rut.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think mindset is the biggest piece. And that's why
I'm gonna attest to that, because I'm stuck at home with a husband and 2 kids, and I'm being told I need to homeschool my kids and teach them and do this and do that and entertain them and make sure they get outside and make sure they're getting their exercise in, and they gotta have 3 meals a day. It's totally different when they're at home than when they're back at school, and it's been a struggle of trying to be like, hey, no, look, like, this is my office. Y'all need to leave me alone and let me do my work. So I find even myself doing weird hours. Like, I'm up at 5 a.m. so I can work out, run, get home, do that. And then it's like, okay, then I can work for a couple hours, and I'm working in the afternoon, and then I'm working later in the evening. Like last night I was on my computer till 10 or 11 until I go to bed, because I try to focus somewhat on the kids too, because they're bored out of their mind. They don't understand what's going on, and they got nothing to do. Like they can't go play with friends or do anything, so they're literally quarantined, and they've been home since we've kept them home since like they were on their spring break, and we haven't let them leave.
Yeah.
So they're really, I feel bad for them, because they're really struggling with all of this. Like and then it puts stresses on us, because then
Right.
we feel like we're not doing enough. So I feel like I fight my time for everybody.
Joseph, how's your mindset? How you feeling?
More just waiting, just waiting for this to blow over. There's not much that I can do other than just prepare for the next, until this kind of blows over. Everything's just at a pause right now. But yeah, just focusing on getting organized, getting everything's extra clean right now, but getting everything that I need to organized.
Right.
I'm gonna probably, get in touch with a lot of friends and family this next week coming up. A lot of my other realtor friends, like on Facebook, they're like, "Yeah, everyone's home. It's a good time to call." So
yeah. I gotta admit, coming into the office helps me focus on thinking about the day. What I got to do here in the office, what I got to do with the staff. It kind of helps me block out some of the noise. But with Kelly being a realtor, I mean, I got to look at that side too, and it's difficult to focus. Going home tomorrow and working from the house is going to be a brand new challenge, and I agree. We all have to do a daily mindset check, so it's not going to be easy. And I agree. We probably need to do this call earlier in the morning so we can all lean on one another to get our minds right, to take care of the focus at hand, and that's generating income deals any kind of way possible. So I hear you. It's not to be overlooked or taken lightly. We always say get your mind right, but sometimes you need a community to help support you get your mind right.
yeah, definitely when I was taking bold, when I had my script partner, she'd call me 8:30 in the morning, and yeah, it would definitely get me going for the day. So she'd call me, wake me up, we'd do our scripts, and we'd be on it. So
Okay. All right. So let's say the next call will be on Friday. I'm gonna do it early. I'll move the time up to what's a good time. I don't want to. If everybody's at home, what's a good time? Suggestions. Let me know.
8:30, 9. Well, we did this one with. I'm up for anything.
Kelly.
I mean, I like the earlier the better, because then we could get into the mindset to make calls, because I've been, you start, or like he said in bold, your monkey mind starts to tell you stuff like, oh, they're at home, and you're going to sound insensitive by calling, and how do I call from contribution, and it's just a lot. It's, so I found myself picking and choosing who I call instead of just calling like everybody and saying, hey, how's it going?
Okay.
But so yeah, I think that'll help.
All right. So let's do it on 8:30. I'm going to start running these on 3 days a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. With this being Tuesday, the next one won't be until Friday. But beginning next week, we'll have a community call at 8:30 Monday. We'll do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday to check in with one another. Where you at? How you making out in your business? What other ideas can we share to make it through this period of time? What do you say?
sounds good.
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys participating. If you need them, I got graphs and stuff. I'll email out to the four here, and I'll post them on the webpage, and I'll put out the new schedule. But let's lean on one another. If you need something, supplies, just a push, support, text me, email one another. We're here to help. We're all in this together. So let's get home. Let's get safe and lower the curve, as they say. Practice social distancing, but still do your business.
So are we shutting down?
I think we're getting close to my 40 minutes. They just sent me a little message, but they said they extended me, but I don't
No,
want
I mean the office.
I haven't heard the official word from Chad, but he said probably by tomorrow we'll be working from home.
Right, because
Office will still be open in some capacity to receive checks. We haven't finalized those details, but most of the staff and things will be working out from home. So I'll put up some information on the internal website once I get the final word. All right, I don't have anything else. We'll be going on with tactics 5 and 6, and move forward next week.
Well, thank you, Keith.
I appreciate you guys participating. Take care. Be safe.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.
Have a good week, guys.
You too. Bye-bye.